morning, American Dream Makers. I am Zena Krogadal, and I am your host today. And I'm so excited to have you join me today because I have very, very exciting guests to bring on. So, but first, if you are on here live, I would ask that you go ahead and share this out because I'm going to tell you, people want to hear my two guests that are coming on because they are going to share from their heart as to why they are out helping so many veterans. So if you are watching live, please go ahead and share this out. And also, if you can go to streamyard.com/Facebook and give StreamYard permission, we'd love to see your comments. So we like this to be interactive. So don't be shy. Go ahead and put some comments in the comment section. If you have questions during this, please don't hesitate and put your questions in there as well. So we want this to be a lot of fun discussion and for you to also just get a real glimpse of two people who truly have a heart to serve. So also, if you are watching the replay, we'd love to hear from you as well. So go ahead and comment in the comment section that you're watching the replay and absolutely share this out to your friends as well. So without further ado, I want to introduce to you Carla Lemon and Dustin Luce. And Dustin Luce is the co-founder of the Veterans Association of Real Estate Professionals, and it was established in 2011 to help veterans, to advocate for veterans using the VA loan home guarantee program. And so he has an incredible passion to serve veterans and has been doing it for quite some time. And Carla Lemon, she is the executive director of VAREP. We also call it VAREP. And she also oversees Vet Cares. And so we are so excited to talk about all the things that are going on with these two amazing, amazing people. So I'm going to bring them to the stage. So here we go. Carla, hello. Dustin, hello.
Morning.
How are you this morning?
Doing great.
Hi, Zena. It's a great morning. Thanks for having us.
It is a great morning. Thank you so much for taking your time out of your busy schedule because I know you guys are jam-packed with things going on serving our veterans. And so, Dustin, let me just start out with you. You are the co-founder of the Veterans Association of Real Estate Professionals. We also call it VAREP. And so give us a little background as to why that vision came about, how that vision came about. We just love to hear that.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's funny, Son and I, my business partner, just shared this last week with Bank of America and Berkshire Hathaway. So it's fresh. What is, I guess, appropriate question is what is VAREP, and then like how was it founded? What's the origin story? So the Veterans Association of Real Estate Professionals was founded to serve veterans when it comes to homeownership. Whether it be financial literacy or learning the VA loan benefit, our aim is to teach military and veterans on how to utilize that VA loan benefit because we found that it is one of those benefits that's mysterious, that gets lost in the shuffle. And then also we educate the real estate practitioners, realtors, lenders, and anybody in the real estate industry on how to better serve veterans on that path to homeownership. So that's what, in a nutshell, what VAREP does at the foundational level. There's a whole lot of programs that have spawned out since we launched, really because of folks like Carla and Zena that get involved with VAREP and have some amazing visions and that we can work with. So what is the origin story? So my business partner, Son Win, he's a Navy veteran, and he and I got connected back in about 2009, I think it was 2009, during the real estate meltdown. So those of you that are in real estate or have owned real estate or were simply alive at that time, remember that the real estate market took a massive crash. And, there was a lot of issues in the real estate market. And at that time, I took over a real estate office, a real estate company, and I needed a broker of record. And so I got connected through a mutual friend with Son. I had heard about him. He'd heard about me, taking the office over. And actually we sat down and we ate sushi. And We talked about, what my needs were and what his background was, and we decided to, create a partnership in that real estate office. I was pretty young at that point, so he became a mentor of mine and helped me in running that company and just different moves that I needed to make inside of it. So, that kind of started our relationship. From there, a lot of people will say that Son and I are like polar opposite personalities, which is, I think, a good thing when you're launching any endeavor. It can be, there can be conflict, but there can be a lot of great things that happen from that. So, one day Son came to me and said, hey, I'm military background and I see a lot of issues in the real estate market amongst veterans in accessing their VA loan benefit. And he says, what do you think? What are you seeing in the marketplace? And I said, yeah, you know what? You're right. We are seeing a lot of vets that, number one, don't know about the VA loan benefit. Number two, we've been hearing a lot about veterans that are making offers using their VA loan benefit, and unfortunately weren't getting a great reception from either the realtor on the other side or the home seller. And that's what we discovered was purely because of a misunderstanding about what the benefit is, what it does, the capabilities of it. There are a lot of misnomers about, oh, that's not, it takes too long, appraised values don't come in, things like that. And we're like, well, that's not necessarily true. So, the question came is, what are we going to do about it? There are some sister organizations in the industry that focus on homeownership for different minority groups, like the Asian Association of Real Estate Professionals, the Hispanic Association, NAREP, and NAREP, the African American Association. And we looked at what they were doing in their marketplaces, and they created this network of chapters throughout the country. They had a vision. They said, we're going to help these folks get into homeownership. Then they created chapters, and then the chapters did their thing locally. So we modeled that, and we launched VAREP, which actually the corporate is USA Homeownership Foundation, Inc., and it's DBA VAREP, and with the aim of serving veterans. And we formed ours as a C3. It's a community-based nonprofit. There's a lot of trade organizations out there, and if you know nonprofits, there's organizations that are to the benefit of their members. That's a trade organization. And then there are organizations that are to the benefit of the public. We chose the public aspect, because we knew we could do both then. So fast forward, we launched VAREP. We started sharing about what our vision was, and man, did it catch on fast. We went to a lot of different trade organizations. We talked to a lot of people we knew in the industry. And in fact, Carla was one of our very, very first board members in Sacramento, California. And so an interesting thing about VAREP is, we're serving veterans. I didn't serve. I'm not a veteran. Our organization calls those who didn't serve patriots, because we want to give our time back. And, what you see is, we have family. Most of us have family that has been through different things and experienced different things. And so we want to give back in some way. So that's the mix of VAREP. You have veterans and patriots side by side working to help veterans realize the American dream of homeownership. And I'll stop there, and I'll let Zena or Carla share a little bit, but that's the origin story.
That's a great origin story, because that just shows just the heart and the passion that you and Son had behind the whole vision of VAREP. And I will say that I have been part of VAREP since 2019 and have loved every minute of it, love the vision that you both have. And yes, you two are like the yin and the yang. And I think it works extremely well. There is an energy, and the ideas that exchange between the two of you is very, very infectious and very dynamic. And so I do believe that we are just beginning. You're just scratching the surface, to be honest, because there's so much to come. And so one of the wonderful things, because there's many arms of VAREP since I've come to learn and grow and know more about VAREP. There's many, many arms that you guys reach out and do. And one of them came into birth called Vet Cares. So Carla, I would like to, ask you, how did Vet Cares come about? Where did that vision come from? And yeah, just tell us about, you know, I know you were one of the original board members of VAREP, so you've been around since the very beginning. And so as time went on, you had this vision to that birth of vet care. So give us a glimpse of that.
Thanks, Zena. Yeah, it's been a number of years, I think 12 years, maybe 13, I
Yep.
can't remember. And so I volunteered with VAREP in the very beginning. And then I was fortunate enough to be offered the position of association director once they were ready to truly launch all the chapters across the U.S. So I helped get the other chapter stood up, trained the board of directors for each chapter, and moved everything forward along with the team behind the scenes, and Son and Dustin leading the way. So we had a program, a grant program at VAREP, and it was called Stop, Drop, Push campaign. And that campaign was formed to help bring more awareness to the 22 statistic of veterans committing suicide a day. And so we wanted to do something to give back to try and help prevent suicides. So this grant became funding to help veterans get to alternative therapies, because alternative therapies were coming onto the scene, and the VA hadn't caught up with it completely yet. They're on board with it now, and we've changed a lot of things. So from Stop, Drop, Push, Son had a vision to have more grant programs and more funding to veterans on a variety of levels. So I left VAREP as executive director and became executive director for Vet Cares. We launched it in we started talking about it in 2018 and started making the motions in 2019 and 20. Officially approved in 21 as a 501c3, and then have been growing it since 22 and 23. And so this is I would say our official third year of fundraising and providing grants for veterans under Vet Care. So Stop, Drop, Push was the initial birthing of now what is Vet Cares. We moved the Stop, Drop, Push campaign over to Vet Cares, and we also have other grants that we offer. We offer an emergency fund grant when veterans find themselves in need in times that they didn't expect to find themselves in. And then we also have our Stop, Drop, Push grant. And we have a Callaway Closing Cost grant, which is a $2,000 gift grant to help veterans get into homes. And then we have launched our brand new grant this year. It's our Thriver grants. And that's gap funding to help veterans get to professionals who can help them related to military sexual trauma and domestic violence trauma. So the last thing, and this is what we're here to talk about today, is our Camp Cares program. And Camp Cares program came about when we had established the possibility of using some land in Montana, and then we set up a healing camp from that. So we've been holding a healing camp now this will be our third year. Our first year, we helped 3 veterans. Last year, we helped 4 veterans. And this year, our goal is to help 16 veterans through the healing camp. So that's how Vet Cares came about, is through the passion of all the members and the staff, the founder and co-founder of USA Homeownership VAREP, that just wanted to do more than just housing and homeownership.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, that it just like the vision just keeps getting bigger and bigger. The dreams keep getting bigger and bigger. And I love it. I love that the heart is to reach as many veterans as possible, because the reality is that they gave so much for us. The reason why we're even able to be here today is because of the sacrifice they made, whether they were in combat or not in combat. There were sacrifices that were made. And many of them, when they serve in that capacity, there can be traumas that occur. And so I love this vision that you have for Camp Cares. And we're going to watch a video here in just a little bit, but I do want you and Dustin to give us a little glimpse about, as you've run the camp and witnessed, the veterans going through it, what is it about the camp that has really propelled you to jump from going from 3 veterans to 4 veterans to looking at 16 veterans this year? So I want to hear that, what is it about the camp that made you two decide we're going to go really big this year?
Well, the vision, we all it was collective vision for the healing camp, based on the past traumas of service, and that the VA does what they can and they do everything they can to help the veteran. But there's a lot of proof that being outdoors and healing in the outdoors does, it makes a shift and it helps people, but mostly more so veterans, to heal in the right environment, in the right guidance, in the right coaching, and in the right activities. And it can, we've designed this. I knew, I myself am I fly fish, and fly fishing helped me heal at a certain point in my life. And I know that the impact that outdoors and those activities and the right guidance can help someone. And so we started out with fly fishing because that's the area that we know the best right now. And eventually we're going to open it up to, there'll be yoga, meditation, there's going to be hunting, biking, backcountry camping, rafting. So as we grow, there'll be a lot more programs that will help, and the veterans will have their opportunity to say, I think this is the best area for me, instead of just having right now offering one activity. Well, we have 2 activities. There's e-bike riding and the fly fishing. So we combine that with a coaching program, because there are a lot of nonprofits, and it takes all of the nonprofits to help veterans. And there are a lot of nonprofits that do get veterans out with their peers into the outdoors. They take them fishing, they'll take them hiking, or they just meet together at a campground and they have lunch and sit around and share their shared experiences. And it's proven that being around the peer veterans help heal other veterans. So we wanted it to be more than that, more than just an outdoor activity. We really wanted to make a shift in their lives and bring a program that changes their lives forever moving forward. So that's what we have brought. And the last year really helped us seal that with Dustin as our coach and guiding, with 2 other coaches that came in. And the program was a huge success, to the point where we feel really confident that we can grow now and really help more veterans every year. So I'm going to turn it over to Dustin and have him talk about the coaching program that he's been an integral part of.
Yeah, thank you, Carla. I would say, let me answer your first question, Zena. What I saw is that why go from 4 to 16 this year is there's 2 big reasons. One is we see the success, like the marked, like when you talk to these men now, and if you would have talked to them 2 months before they went, or a month before they went, you would see a completely different person. And it's not that they were bad people or anything like that before. It's just simply a matter of awareness and, conviction and intensity and focus in their life. And that's kind of in a nutshell explains in a way what they're going to go through during the camp. But the other thing too is when Carla put out that we had openings for the camp last year, I think, Carla, how many responses did you get in a matter of like a week to 2 weeks?
Within like 5 days, we had 32 applications. Okay.
So that right there is enough to tell you there needs to be more. There's a hunger and desire to, I think what a lot of veterans see when they see these programs out there, there's a lot of them and they're all necessary. There's a camaraderie and a peer connection that they're looking for. You know, I didn't go to the military, but through the years, I've gotten to know really well that piece of it because I've been around it and I've been accepted into those conversations a lot of times that had the benefit to listen in and hear. And that is a massive thing that that's missing once you get out of the military. So, you know, that is what the desire is for somebody who sees the flyer or sees, hey, I can go whitewater rafting, or I can do this thing or that thing, or fishing. You know, I'm going to be around a bunch of other veterans. We can talk about our stories. We can, you know, and there's healing in that. There's natural healing in that. What we did a little different with this one I kind of lobbied for it to be this way, and Carla as well. We've been through our own versions of these things with other groups, and so we've gotten, you know, in a way, we had our own version of it that we went through, and we've come out the other end, and we also got the opportunity to learn how to run these kinds of events. And so the big question was, how do we make it not just an event? You show up, you do the thing, you do the fishing, and then you leave, and then what? And it kind of just, the reality is, if you've ever, like for anybody listening, if you've ever gone on a vacation, you really looked forward to going to that vacation. So you go on that vacation, there's all the excitement, the buildup, you go there, you go to Hawaii, right? You go to Hawaii and it's fun. And then you get real down when you leave. And you show back up at home and you remember it for a little while, but then it goes away after, you know, a week to 2 weeks. Or even if you've gone to some camp where there's some work being done at the camp on yourself, it typically will just go away after a little while. So the question we ask is, how do we make this a lasting thing? And that we're just, these are the things that we've been through. So what we created was a process of lead up, where really we don't want to just show up and, hey, I'm John, I'm Dustin, I'm Carla, and you're meeting for the first time. There's a lead up process where the folks who are going through it are actually getting to know each other and in a very special way. And then when we show up, it's time for work. It's time for, yes, an amazing time fly fishing. And I got to fly fish once before I went to the camp last year, and just to, you know, learn a little bit about it. And I was with a group of other men and dads doing that. But you know, then to see the power of being on the water, Carla talks about all the time. It's very healing, and it's fun. And so they are getting to do that. But then how do you then extract the lessons from that? And not just, hey, you know, I learned this, but then how does it deeply apply to my life? And then there's the follow through. There's I'm going to leave the event, but that's not the end. Now I'm going to go through a process of, I've made some decisions for my life, and I've made some shifts and adjustments, and I'd have some massive awareness into things that I didn't even realize were going on. And now here's what I'm going to attack when I get back. It puts you back in a mode of, I'm going to be driving my life rather than just kind of going along with the flow, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. That sounds like such a great structure that you have set in place. And I'm going to go ahead and play this video because I think at this point, let's let our viewers take a look at what's really going on in this Camp Cares, this healing camp. And then we'll come back and we'll talk a little bit more. But I'm going to go ahead and share the screen here. And we're going to take a look at this video so you can get an idea of what all is happening here. So see if you can see the screen. I'm going to go ahead and play it.
I joined the military, right? Because of September 11th, I turned 21 in Iraq. Never did it in college. I never did any of that normal human stuff, right? So a lot of this is for me.
I think I'm angry, person with PTSD that's frustrated in life.
As you can see inside of the theme of already where we're going in this first process is that we have to keep digesting questions. What are we afraid of? What is our biggest fear?
I'm a failure. I failed my brothers and my peers.
My biggest fear right now is failure. It's failing myself, failing my family. I can't do this kind of stuff physically. I'm fucking spent. Hurt.
Just a failure in life. Failure to my kids, failure to my girlfriend. Honestly, a fear of failure at this.
Know that we have a process here. Trust in the process. I'm going through it. And it's just the start.
Coach Max, Coach Felix, myself. Think of us as guides going through this process. Really, we're here to help you guys see blind spots. This is your warm up. You hold on to this. You don't let it go. It stays with you the entire time. You're going to document everything that goes on during this camp.
So the concept of Camp Cares came about when we were able to secure a property in Paradise Valley in Montana. The purpose is to bring veterans together with their brothers and sisters in camaraderie and to trust in this process, and that the coaches that are alongside them and guiding them have their six, so that they know they can let their armor down in order to start that healing process.
Every time that we do an event like this, and I share with the men that are there, is that you are going to end up dictating this experience. We may have plans, but those plans are going to quickly change based on how you respond and how open you're able to get. This goes back to the conversation of the armor, and that's where we started with the event.
Can I fully take that armor off? I feel like I have to be protected somehow. And it's a scary thing. It's a very scary thing.
So, that's intimidating in itself. Like you're entering this realm of something that you have no idea what's going on. You know it's going to be emotional. You know it's going to be taxing, and you're doing it with a bunch of guys that you don't know.
Giving it 9,000% without armor.
I know I was frustrated, and I fell off my bike at the end because my knee went out.
All I hear is hurry up, go, do this, do that. Like, it's that basic training mentality again. I can't do it. Dealing with pain, dealing with everything.
That was a part of your journey to the man you are today. We're going to elevate this man to where you desire him to be for everything that you guys mentioned on the right here.
So you guys have an opportunity tonight to let go of your label, to let go of the worst thing that's ever happened to you and the worst thing you've ever done. Write down your feelings of your post-traumatic stress syndrome, your worst thing that's ever been done to you, the worst thing that you've ever done, and you put this on one letter, and you burn it.
I think what makes Camp Cares different from other programs is what our aim is, what our focus is with the veterans while they're there. We're not there to just relax. We're there to do some work. And not necessarily physically work, but we're there to do some work on ourselves. And so we're always seeking ways during the event to garner experience from what we're going through. We're going to assess every situation that comes up. What did we learn from that situation? How can we apply it to our life?
And that is our goal for Camp Cares, to be all-encompassing, so that when they leave here, they have the confidence and they know how to use the tools and the skill sets that they've experienced at the camp, and they start to make an impact on their lives as well as their families and their communities.
The fly, the fish, or the fisherman?
Which are you? I was going to say all three.
Now that you're aware of something you learned about yourself yesterday, what and how are you going to apply this to your life? Like, what are you going to do with it?
My past doesn't define who I am right now. I define who I am right now.
I learned a lot of patience fly fishing, and a lot of coaching and listening to other people and letting it sink in to try to learn something I've never done before and get out of my comfort zone.
Remember the pause.
Boom.
Okay, that's hard for me. So, and I've been practicing.
Me and Pops were training together on that. We talked about that a couple times, and how we really need to relate it to our lives and really take a step back and look how awesome everything is. Like, it's amazing.
This program is 100% free for the veteran, from the travel expenses to get there to being on site, everything that happens there. It's free for the veteran. So what I'm going to ask of you as the viewer, whoever is watching this, whether it be a company or an individual, take part in this, be a partner in this. And I don't say that lightly. Whatever you can give, whatever you can provide is going to go straight into this veteran having an opportunity to come to this camp.
At the end of the thing, it was well worth it. And I enjoyed being with all three of these gentlemen and going through the experience with them.
Yeah. I am so grateful for this opportunity.
Proud of it. And all the journey to get to this point from, like I said, day one all the way to the end. So, yeah, it means a lot.
This right here is a lifelong dream. I think I've told you guys, and it's much more than that. You know, being here is much more than just this dream.
We ask you to join us in partnership in making an impact with your donation to change veteran lives. Please visit us at vetcares.org/CC and make your donation today. Thank you.
Wow, incredible. Just the scenery, the atmosphere and where this camp takes place is in so many ways healing in and of itself. To sit in a majestic environment with the mountains and the river and all of that. I mean, this is Montana, Montana, basically at the mouth of Yellowstone. And that is just phenomenal, Carla, that there's a property that you have there to be able to share for helping the veterans. In that video, I mean, it's a heart tugger. That video just really gets at your heart. Something that really struck me when they were having the conversation in the vehicle heading to wherever they were going, but they talked about the biggest fear being failure. Dustin, can you touch on that a little bit more, expound? I mean, that seems to resonate, I believe, with a lot of people, but especially among the veterans, because they experience things that most of us have not experienced. So can you touch on that just a little bit more and give us a little more insight as to what that is and how you have helped them to overcome that?
Yeah. So first of all, like you just said right now, it's that fear of failure. I think everybody feels that. Every single person, the three of us on this call have a fear of failure. Everybody listening has a fear of failure. And so it's interesting that it's not a unique issue. What's unique is for a veteran is the situation that they served in, that container they served in, and then going back to civilian life is a very unique thing that they go through. And unfortunately, It's rough. It is very rough. It is taking away of that camaraderie that we talked about earlier today. It's a taking away of the systems and processes of operating life. And from what I understand of being in the military, listening to the stories is, you have a job, you do this job, and you have success. You just work through it, and there's always going to be that point of moving forward, and then you get out, and then there's the what now. And so that what I see is that creates a lot of issues. It creates a lot of problems up here, where there's that doubt that seeps in. So the question of the greatest fear, what you're hearing is the beginning of the journey when they get there. It's the unpackaging of the homework they did before they got there. And it's just being able to speak it. Because any change you want to make, you have to have awareness of the problem first. So that's one of the things that we do is we build up that awareness of what they're really feeling, especially I'll speak to as far as a man, having a very hard time to speak about what it is you're feeling. And it's almost at a point where you don't even realize you're doing it. You don't even realize that you're holding back those feelings. So you have to be taught how to do it. Unfortunately, our society teaches you to stuff it down. And it's not a good thing. Military teaches you stuff it down. You can't feel it because you have a job to do. So, we're helping them unpackage those things. You heard John, I believe it said it in the video, my past does not define me now. And so that is a healing statement from the original statement of I'm a fear of failure. I'm a fear I fail my family. So that past is no longer something they have to live in. Another demonstration of is you heard Shep was around the fire and saying, all I hear is hurry up and go. And some context is that's what he's hearing in his head. Nobody at the camp told him, hurry up and move. We're not military. We're not, running them and stuff like that. There's other programs for that. If you want to hear about it, I'll show you. But that's what the story is in his head, that he's still living in that mindset of hurry up and move. And he made himself move too fast. And you end up seeing him throwing up on the side of the road. He pushed himself too hard. And so that's, it's kind of like I just wrote down real quick. It's a process of gain. Well, first of all, that's the story that we live in, right? So we live in stories. We all do it. You got to gain awareness to that, that you're telling yourself that story. Then you got to be able to see a different version of yourself that often exists now. We just think something else. We realize we have a choice, and then we build the tools to put those stories down daily. So the fear of I'm a failure is going to creep up every day, even if they go through the camp and then there's nothing. There's got to be a teaching of how do you deal with that daily? How do you put that down daily so you can move on and move forward?
Wow. Yeah, that's powerful. Another image, watching them burn the piece of paper that they wrote. It must have been a very powerful moment for them to just psychologically watch it burn and be done once and for all. Dustin, have you done that yourself? Have you gone through and exercised that as well?
Yep.
And
I don't have it right here with me. I have an abundance of these, journals, but yes, I have my journal that has my burnt page in the back.
Yeah, that's a powerful image. Carla, so you are a fly fisher woman, and you've been fishing for quite some time, right? And you developed a love for it. So I'd love for you to explain how this helps to heal the veterans as they learn how to fly fish, or as they fly fish in itself. Maybe some of them already know how to fly fish.
Yeah, some of it I learned. I actually went to Colorado and went to a fly fishing guide school and then came back and was guiding for a number of years. And one of the things that naturally occurs if you've spent any time doing it is the association to life. So I often tell people fly fishing is very similar to golf, which kind of like, what does that mean? And basically it's you're responsible for what happens on the course or on the river. and you have to pay attention to details, and you have to own, if you don't reach your goal for that day or the reason why you're out on the river, that's on you. And there's no one to turn to and say, hey, I didn't catch that fish because of you, or I didn't choose the right fly. You're responsible for yourself. And then I also went through a program very similar to Dustin's not too long ago, and it helped me to combine the program with the outdoor experiences. And so I'll give you an example. You saw in the video, you saw Pops. That's his nickname, Pops. And he said, remember the pause. So these things come up naturally. These guys picked up these life lessons from the structure of our program and from the structure of being out on the river. So when you're fly fishing, when you learn how to cast, you have to learn how to use the gear. And it's different than bait fishing because you have to allow the rod and the reel and the gear to send the energy differently than you do when you're bait fishing. When you're bait fishing, it's all your power. When you're fly fishing, it's the gear's energy and knowing how to use the gear to get the energy. So you have to, on the back cast, you have to go do a back cast first to go forward. And on the back cast, you have to pause and allow the line to unroll before you can use the energy to bring the line forward and place the fly where you would like to place it. So most people will fail at that in the very beginning because it's not a natural course of casting. And when that happens, then the line just drops, or you get snagged in a tree, or you get it hooked on your coat. There's a variety of things that can go wrong if the form is not then developed. And Pops realized from learning to cast and fly fishing that the pause is critical also in life. And he learned to pause before speaking to his girlfriend, before speaking to his kids. He realized that that's how he needs to apply that lesson learned, and that it's okay to pause. It's okay to it's better to pause, actually, in fly fishing. And many times in life, it's better to pause as well. So there's a lot of life lessons that come from just being on the river and learning the gear. And for example, the river changes daily. I went out, the weather's really good here in Montana right now. And I had went out and scouted a spot on the river a few days before I wanted to go out. And I thought, wow, this is a great spot. A couple days later, I show up, the river's completely different. And knowing that, I brought different gear so I could shift and adjust. And that's basically every day of your life. Every day of your life, the current's different. How are you going to address it? Are you prepared to make that shift that day? What tools do you have to adjust and be able to handle it the way you want to handle it? And not use the excuses of life to get in the way of you having a great life. And so those are the kinds of, just a couple of examples of how fly fishing and just being in the outdoors can bring awareness to everyday life as well.
Wow. Yeah, I have not done fly fishing, so thank you so much for explaining the steps to it and how it's different than bait fishing, and that the energy from fly fishing is the key to the success. And you're right, that really does apply in life, because it's the energy behind our casting of our life determines the success in it. And so that's awesome. And I love that you both have been through similar camps and really took from those things that you've learned and combined it and applied it to Camp Cares. So as we are moving into 2024, I know you touched on it, that the vision is to have 16 veterans, but tell us a little bit more specifically, what does that vision look like? And is that multiple camps? Is that one camp? What is that vision looking like for 2024?
So out of the applications that we received last year, half of those were women. So this year, we are going to hold our very first She Matters female veteran healing camp. And then we're going to expand on our third Warrior men's healing camp. So our goal is to have 8 veterans at each camp, with a total of 16 going through the camps this year. And that is, we spend basically about 2 months with the veterans. So there's 10 days in advance that we're with them to prep them. They have assignments every single day, and they're very specific to the lead up. When they arrive, it's 5 to 6 days on site, and then another 45 days after the camp. So the last day of the camp, we set goals. And then the 45 days after that is to follow up on those goals, see how they're doing. Where are they? Where are they stuck? What tools can they use that we provided? So we don't give them the answer. We say, okay, what tool that we provided can you use to get unstuck? So we stay with them, and every single one of them has said that made the biggest difference of all, is being able to continue that 45 days. And on top of that, they continue their camaraderie with their peers that they went through the camp with. So there's a long-term goal to build alumni so that they can all have similar experiences and be able to help each other through the alumni and have connections throughout the country for similar experiences. But growing the camps means more cost. So we are asking anybody within earshot to make a donation to Camp Care so we can make this happen this year, so we can change 16 veteran lives. Because when we change their lives, we change their family lives. The connections these veterans make with their friends and families when they get home, their families all say they're different. And they've gotten their husband back, or they've gotten their father back. And so with that, the families change, their work environment changes, and then their communities change as well. So it's an everlasting change. So your donation is everlasting. And it also helps the veterans wherever they are, because they continue to give back and help share what they've learned and try to help and push that forward with their comrades locally. So the donation goes a long way. It lasts a very long time. And the cost to be able to run the camp is, in order for the veterans to be able to attend free, the cost is approximately $7,500 per veteran. So if you have a business and you want to get a veteran to this camp, or if you're an individual, $5 will go a long way, $10, $50, $100, whatever you can give to help these veterans heal will make a difference throughout the country. So that's our goal this year. Right now, we're really pushing hard, getting the $7,500 for those 16 veterans to attend.
Yeah. And I've got the vetcares.org/cc is the website to go to donate, to get more information on Camp Cares. So absolutely, viewers, when you are on here, go visit vetcares.org/cc and get information on the camp and do your donation, Carla. And you're right, any amount is going to help, because we've got millions of people throughout our nation. And if everybody gave even just $5, wow, that would just be amazing. And most of us can probably go out and muster up $5, to be honest. I mean, I believe like Starbucks coffee is a little more than $5 right now. So if you just donated one day of your coffee and each of us did it, it would be phenomenal. So it doesn't have to be a large donation, although we would certainly take any size donation. I also, Dustin, I would love to hear from you, as you coming in as a coach and not, and I hear all three of us actually do not have a military background, but we do have a heart to serve the veterans that have served. But I'd love to hear from you just on your personal note, being a coach at this camp. What was the best part of that for you, for the experience that you had as a coach?
The best part for me is seeing the transformation, and like Carla mentioned a minute ago, knowing the impact that it's going to have on them and their families from a generational standpoint is massive. I mean, that's really why that is the why for me, because I know that the key for their families to change, for things to change in their family lines, starts with that man. So, to get in there, to quote unquote, get your hands dirty, to get into the situation, to be vulnerable, to ask for vulnerability. It's a hard thing. It's a difficult thing, especially men, we like to hold things back. And so it's a special thing. But yeah, the just seeing the transformation and knowing, like what Carla said, when they get back, knowing that their families are going to see a different man walk in that door, and then he's going to continue to operate differently in the family. And when I picture that, that's what does it for me. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. And I do want to also make sure that our viewers do know that we do have coaches that are veterans at this camp. So it is not just patriots, but it's a combined effort between patriots and veteran coaches that help to implement and deliver this camp to be successful for the veterans. Carla, what are you most excited about having the She Matters camp this year?
Wow, I'm just to see the transformation for these women, and to give them a different vision, and that they're more than capable of what's going to be the changes that'll come through their life and their transformation from being at the camp. It's really, it sounds kind of, it's hard to describe the gift of being able to give to others in a different way. It's so important to me to be able to serve veterans, because I didn't serve. And I truly want to serve them in a way that is impactful. And it's, I think the biggest thing that I receive from the camps is the impact they have on me. And the lessons they learn, I get to learn as well, again, or new lessons I haven't thought about. So it's that camaraderie that we build together at the camp, and that's everlasting as well. So we become like a family. So that's really special, and I'm really excited to be able to bring that to some female veterans and watch them transform their lives this year.
Yeah,
and go ahead.
And say that's just very, very exciting, because I do understand. I mean, first of all, it seems like female veterans sometimes are forgotten, because it's a smaller number of those that have joined and served compared to men. And so I know, talking to some of the female veterans, they kind of like, hey, I'm a veteran too. Like, I love that you are going to have a veteran camp for females, because I do feel like some of the times they feel like they've been kind of left out of the whole veteran things, the veteran benefits and the veteran recognition. But two, some of the traumas that they experience are very different than what the men have experienced. Mm-hmm. And I think that's important to allow them that space to be able to I guess, talk about and have healing from, because many times, other people aren't necessarily going to understand the things that have taken place in their time of service, and being a female, and what that's like. So kudos to you for having that vision and for that heart. And I am confident that you are going to be able to serve many veterans this year, because it's going to happen. It has to happen, because it's such a huge need. And between you and Dustin and those that help along the way, just phenomenal people. So any last final words that you'd like to leave us with?
I did want to share that if anyone's interested on the breakdown of the costs for the camp, it is on the Camp Cares page. You can click and open the brochure, because we want to make sure people know where their money's going, and that the admin costs for it are considerably low compared to the rest of the cost of the camp, and that your money it's important, and your money's doing some great work. And so we hope that if someone wants to see where the money's going, that they'll really see how we run the camp, and be able to give us a donation to help these veterans this year. So thank you, Zena.
How about you, Dustin? Any last words that you'd like to share?
Yeah. Well, first, I want to thank Carla for what she's doing. You guys have no idea how much time and heart, and there's no complaint about it. It's just, this is just what she does. So what you're seeing is a woman that's very dedicated to what she believes in, and making it happen. So thank you, Carla. You guys saw two other coaches on the video, Coach Max and Coach Felix. Those are brothers of mine from Warrior Week, from the organization I'm involved in with other men. So I just wanted to thank them for putting their time into coming. And just an encouragement, anybody watching, like Zena said, even $5, look, $1, like anything helps to put these on. We're going all different directions, seeking help to put these camps on. It is valuable, as you saw in the video, that even, you saw from the fear to, crying in the car, to the men standing in the tent and giving their takeaways at the graduation ceremony. And you see a massive change in a matter of days. That is what you're taking part in. So don't take it lightly. If you have something to give, please do. We truly appreciate that. And Zena, thank you for having us on.
Well, thank you so much, Carla and Dustin, for being on. And thank you so much for your service to our veterans. And I believe you also work tirelessly too, Dustin, as well as Carla. And that is really part of the reason why I love being a part of this organization and volunteering as well, because you all inspire me to be better. And the veterans inspire me to be better as well, because I don't believe that serving ends. It's not a 9 to 5 clock in and clock out. When you have the heart to serve, it is until the mission is completed. You got to keep cranking. And so I want to thank you both so much for the time and dedication that you have placed in serving our veterans, and the vision that you have moving into this season of Camp Cares. And I actually would really love to have you back, Dustin, along with Son, because I think it would be wonderful to talk about VAREP and all the things that VAREP is doing, really touching a little deeper on that, because I think, that message and that mission needs to get out even further as well. So these times of conversations always go by so fast, and I really enjoy the time. Thank you so much for sharing your heart, your time. And you guys that are viewing, please go to vetcares.org/CC and spread the word. Share this video out. Let people know about it. There's so many veterans out there who need our help, and they need to know. Oh, real quick, can you explain, Dustin, what We've Got Your Six means? I think we probably should maybe explain that a little bit too.
Yeah, actually, I heard you explain it on a video that you did the other day too. So it's simple. We got your sixes. If you look at a clock, you see the 6 is the backside. So actually, I'm going to give I'll give you another perspective. This is something I learned in my training with the men that I coach with. And so if you have a circle of men or a circle of people, and you're all looking in at each other, then you can see what's going on behind the guy across. But if you're all looking outside the circle, then how can you help the person next to you? You can't see behind them. So we got your 6 means we're going to circle up and we're all going to be looking at each other. And now I can see what's going on. I can see the enemy coming at you and you can see the enemy coming at me. It's a two-way street, actually. The idea of I got your 6. So that's what it means to me is, having people around me that care enough to keep an eye out.
I love that explanation. That just really, really honed it in completely. So thank you so much for sharing that. So we've got your 6 veterans, and no hero should fight alone, and no one should fight alone. And so we are here for you. And if you want, reach out to Carla, reach out to Dustin, and get a hold of them. And they are wonderful, wonderful people. So I will say goodbye for now, and we will chat a little bit later. Thank you again so much, guys. Thank you so much, American Dream Makers, for being on here. I do believe that the American dream belongs to all of us. And not only can you achieve it, but you can go beyond. And Dustin and Carla absolutely are American Dream Makers, making the American dream come true for our veterans and for all those that they come in contact with. So please be sure to share this out, even if you're watching the replay, want to get this message out. And if you've got a podcast or anything else that you would love to bring Carla and Dustin onto your show, please reach out and get them on there. Let's get this message out, and let's get veterans into this camp so that they can heal. So God bless you guys, and take care, and we will see you next time.